Big Podcast.
I know you've seen this thing about Cracker Barrel. I joked around earlier this week. I said, I hope I can have a podcast that people on social media love as much as old school brands that change a name or logo. Brands like Cracker Barrel. But it could be just making a decision because it's best for your company. Target, Bud Light. Years ago, it was Pepsi. Remember the Pepsi boycott? By God. This is probably, 30, 40 years ago. Pepsi was involved with this movie called Passion of the Christ. The Baptists got pissed. Boycott Pepsi. We're still drinking Pepsi. Maybe not as much as Coke, but enough. Millions and millions of gallons every week. I feel for these brands that are getting caught up in the culture war. And what it is right now, it's a lot different than it was with Pepsi. Pepsi was really something that people believed in maybe. These days, for the social media influencers, they're just looking for online engagement. Politicians, they get involved because they use outrage to distract us from the fact that they're not doing anything helpful for the constituents. Here's how it relates to your podcast. If you're building a podcast, I want to give you some thoughts about how to filter the noise and stay in the driver's seat. Because eventually, if you get big enough, or even if you're not, you're going to say something that somebody else doesn't like, and they start making things up about you. Back to Cracker Barrel really quickly. The Cracker Barrel worldwide headquarters, it is in a suburb of Nashville, which is where I am. I know people at Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel used to have a record label. I was in the music business for years. Cracker Barrel sold a lot of CDs back in the day. It is an established company with very smart people. They are not just doing this for the hell of it. They're doing this because they need to. They basically sell a product. It's not quite cigarettes, but if you hang out there long enough, eat what they serve, it's going to kill you just the same. They got an audience that's dying. They're not bringing new people in as quickly as their audience is dying off. Then what? You got to change with the times, baby. I know there's nostalgia, but how many times can we play that golf tee game with the triangle? We've done it. I mean, maybe we can make it into an app, attract Gen Z, make it a sport, make it violent like UFC, gamble on it like Sportsbook. Things change, man. And Cracker Barrel is changing. It's doubtful they're changing because they want to. They're likely changing because they have to. Same thing for us. So let's talk about how to build a podcast in a way that lets you filter the noise and stay in the driver's seat. Because even if your podcast is small, you got these outrage barons that love to pick on something. I've gotten caught up in this. I made a simple tweet one time. One of these dudes from a propaganda outlet, he retweeted it. Within a week, it was seen by 5 million people. All sorts of hate coming my way, man. It was crazy. Let's talk about how to stay in the driver's seat in case something like that happens to you. First of all, you want to define your non-negotiables. I want you to write down what your show stands for, who you serve, what lines that you're not going to cross for clicks. If you don't do this, these outrage merchants that we're talking about, they're going to set it for you. This happened with a well-known podcasting conference a few years ago. Remember this? They said they were open-minded. They said that anybody had a place there. So when they brought all these people that they said had a place there, some of them working and volunteering for this event, some of them just there as attendees, and then brought in some other people, some people who were paying money that believed just the opposite of that, one of these propaganda outlets that I'm talking about, and publicly sided with that propaganda outlet. You just isolated the group that is buying tickets, has been supporting you since day one for a $30,000 booth. You sided with somebody for short-term gains. Now look what's happened. Lost their audience, man. This happens all the time with events, with clubs, with podcasts. You cater to a certain demographic. You bring that demographic in. Word gets out that you're doing something correctly and fun and worthwhile. Then you've got another demographic that comes in, wants to change what you're doing. You lose the original people that put you on the map. So define your non-negotiables. Write down what your show stands for, who it serves, what lines you won't cross for clicks, attention, money. Because if you're not setting this, somebody else is going to set it for you. Then you get caught in the argument on their terms. You want to separate signal from spike. These viral outrages, they're going to give you a spike. But community, that's what gives you a spine. You can play up the outrage. By God, we're an American company. We're a freedom-loving company. We're a woke company, whatever. I don't want to pick on just the real Americans. They're telling us how to do our business. Because it cuts both ways, man. You see these companies that are greenwashing. Oh, we're responsible. These Exxon commercials, they got like a field of flowers. Oh, we care about the environment. No, they don't. They care about profit, man. But they put this nice face forward, just like that podcasting event. Oh, yeah, we care about you. Come on in. We're open for you being you. We're accepting. We don't discriminate. You can feel comfortable here. Yet, coming through the back door, literally, is somebody who doesn't care about those people and is handing the company money. They're taking that money. That's why I said viral outrage, that gives you a spike, but the community gives you a spine. Good luck spending your money. These outrage barons, they're going to use you as long as you're useful for them. Then they're on to the next thing. They don't care. They're going for clicks. They're going for money. You got to watch out for them. They're not your friends. It's clicks and money, man. Own your home base. Social platforms, that's not the real world. Social platforms, it's rented land. Also, it's here today, gone tomorrow. Twitter was a great thing at one time. Now, no. Instagram, not as much anymore. Facebook, not as much anymore. YouTube, it's a great thing until it's not. Last week, I interviewed Rick Beato. He's got 5 million something subscribers. This week, he's got some copyright strikes, and he's fought something like 14,000 of these things. It's amazing. He's got 3 of them, because all it takes is 3 to knock you off the system. This guy's fighting. Because what happens if YouTube goes away? You think those people will follow him? Maybe. But they didn't follow the guys on Fox. Where's Bill O'Reilly now? Where's Tucker Carlson now? What's that guy's name? Yeah, I don't even remember the other guy. It's like The Bachelorette. You're famous when you're on The Bachelorette. But then what? Who cares? They got 12 more bachelorettes they're bringing in. So you got to own your home base. Combine that with having the spine. That's how you build community, man. That makes sure that you're not hostage to the algorithm of the week, the big antenna, the money. If you're going to use controversy, make sure you're not used by it. If a topic touches your lane, good. Cover it with context, bring receipts, shine a light on it. But don't bring the heat. It's outside of your mission, let it pass. There's going to be another one next week. Eventually, no matter what your genre, something's going to come by that you can jump on. Great, ride it. It's like a wave you surf on. Comes by, catch it, good. It goes away, good. But if you keep trying to ride those waves that you're not meant for, and a lot of people do, they go from thing to thing to thing. And I've seen this all the time in the music business. There was a band, a glam metal band. Well, I'll go ahead and let's call the name out. Lit. Remember Lit? My Own Worst Enemy. Great song, man. Man, those guys can write songs. They were a hair metal band. Then they were a pop punk band, like My Own Worst Enemy. Then Lit Gone Country. Country record. Now I think they're back to the standard we all know them for. I don't know, man. I mean, it's once you go on country, you kind of lose that core audience. It's like this event I'm talking about. You can't ditch your audience, your hardcore audience that's been with you for years and years and years and years to try to go for that big hit and then go back to that audience. No, man, we're just playing around. We didn't really mean it. We really love you guys. You've already slapped those guys in the face, man. Dance with the one that brung you. That's what the old Southern guys would say. You might have heard it called shiny object syndrome. There's a saying in music related to this, by the way. When your career goes south, so does your music. Not really. Maybe you don't have a big hit because trends come and trends go. But if you stick with something long enough, eventually it goes from those guys are still around to, oh man, those guys are still around. That's why you see this stadium tour every year with Motley Crue or Poison. You become a legend. Cheap Trick, Iron Maiden, Def Leppard. Look at these guys who are selling out big venues. They're legendary, man. Was there a time when nobody cared? Yes. They weren't going for trends, though. No country records. All right, let's talk about sponsor strategy, how it fits your values. You want to pre-qualify advertisers? I would suggest creating a short doc for brand fit. Share that doc. You're going to lose a few deals, but you're going to gain long-term partners. I've got a lot of people reach out to me for sponsorship. Sometimes it'll be something like pills for entrepreneurs, for example. Pills that are supposed to make you smarter, be able to stay up longer. I don't think it's quite meth, but it's some kind of stimulant. It's supposed to stimulate your brain, make you more creative. This is super common, by the way. If you look at some of the really big podcasts, a lot of them are into what I would call pills, potions, and lotions because there's a huge markup on it. You get set up on something that's recurring. They send you food or powder or stimulants or supplements every month. There is a ton of money in it. Tim Ferriss, he's one of these guys. He owns some of the supplement companies that he advertises. Mark Manson, same deal. These guys are connected to these supplement companies, and even if they're not, it's that recurring billing that makes the money work for high dollar advertising. Look, I'm not saying this is the wrong thing. I'm just asking you to think about, is it for you? Get that brand fit doc, because there are a lot of guys that are going to come to you, Bitcoin, crypto type scams, again, because there's huge money in it, pills, potions, and lotions. You can take the money and say, oh man, what's the harm in it? Well, isolating your audience, that's what the harm is. You want a brand strategy that fits your values. You want to measure what matters. It's not YouTube plays, not for community. It's completion rates. How many people are continuing to come back to you over time? It's direct feedback from your core community, maybe even if it's bad feedback, negative feedback. You can make the decision on that, but I present to you the fact that if somebody's going to respond to you, even negatively, at least they care. Nobody responds when they don't care. They're like, I don't care. It's going to go on to the next thing. Should you make a change based on negative feedback? Not necessarily. That's why I'm going through this list. Some people will. One person will say something like, I don't like this guest. I don't like this topic. And you'll see podcasters that will never do that again. Well, I got some feedback. They didn't like this guest, didn't like this topic. Okay, when you say they, that's a lot of people, right? No, man, it's just this guy. This guy wrote me, said didn't like this guest, didn't like this topic. What, one guy? That's ridiculous, man. Focus on what matters. Vanity metrics, like YouTube views, Instagram likes, Facebook likes. That's how you get baited into doing somebody else's content. That's how you get baited into controversy. Man, I need a hit. Maybe we should talk about Cracker Barrel. And yeah, I get the irony of this. But I'm not saying anything about Cracker Barrel. What I'm talking about is you and your podcast. Should you care if you do something like Cracker Barrel and rebrand if somebody's got an opinion on it? Maybe, but is it who you're going for? That's the point. Who cares what some dumbass on Twitter thinks about your rebrand? Doesn't matter if that's not somebody who is listening to you anyway. All these guys, well, I'm never eating a Cracker Barrel again. When's the last time you went to Cracker Barrel? When's the last time you went to Target? When's the last time you had a Bud Light? By the way, I record every day in a studio that is about 1 block from Kid Rock's Honky Tonk. It's in downtown Nashville on Broadway. Kid Rock took a big ass thing, a Bud Light, boom, 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 shot a machine gun at it. Man, Bud Light. Go woke, go broke. You know what beer is being served at Kid Rock's Honky Tonk? Bud Light. Did Kid Rock stop serving Bud Light at Kid Rock's Honky Tonk? No. This is what I'm talking about, that performative social outrage. Nobody bothers to check any of this. A lot of times, there's a hidden agenda. Oh, I just want clicks, just want to rile people up, just want to make people love me. Does it work for Kid Rock? Yeah, probably. Hadn't had a hit song in 20-something years. Need to do something to get attention. It's what I call star bangers. Look it up. Not at work. Let me give you the safe for work version. Star bangers is when you start out mellow, something that's safe for TV, safe for everybody. And it works until it doesn't work. So then you get more extreme. You start being more controversial. Maybe you take some clothes off. Get a little bit more edgy. And then that works. Ooh, he's being edgy. until it doesn't work. Like anything, it wears off. People get used to it. You turn up that edge knob a little bit more. Ooh, he's really edgy now. And you keep turning it up and turning it up and turning it up. Then you get star bangers. That's the end result. But it's really a process of you bringing out more and more edge to your podcast, more and more of this chasing clicks and chasing likes, living and dying by the algorithm. Don't do that, man. No. Build that community. It's a slow and steady process. They will stick with you. If you're wondering why some of these people get into the podcasting Hall of Fame and you've never heard of them, it's not just because they're old, and the podcast Hall of Fame is also old people and they're all getting their buddies in. It's not just that. It's because some of these old podcasters, because they've been around for so long, they've had this slow and steady thing of giving an audience what it wants, building on that audience, building the connection that I'm talking about. They're in some ways below the radar, not going for that algorithm, not going for those big home runs, but just little base hits. And because they've done it consistently, doing better than a couple of big home runs over their career. Do you have a storm protocol? What happens when the hot take industrial complex knocks? Decide in advance. You're going to ignore it. You're going to clarify on something. You're going to engage with them. What did I do when that propaganda outlet took one tweet that I had, blasted it out to 5 million people in a week? Man, just sit through it, because they're going to be moving on to something the next week. And that's the problem if you do engage with something like this, because it's something that you want to do. It is not sustainable. You've got to change it constantly. That's how this stuff gets bigger, louder, noisier, more controversial. That's star bangers, man. It's not a way to live. You will drive yourself crazy. Is it fun? Yeah, for a time. Stimulating? Yeah, for a time. If you're 20-something, yeah, ride it, man. Do it. By all means. Have fun with it. Do you think it's going to last? No. No. Because there's 10 other guys, maybe 100, 1,000 other guys willing to be even more extreme than you are. People become desensitized to this stuff. What they don't become desensitized to, community, being seen, feeling like they're part of something, feeling like they found their tribe. That's the opportunity. Is it sexy? No. But if you consistently show up for it, again, that's why these old guys are in the podcasting Hall of Fame. Who are these guys? Never heard of them. You go to some of these websites, like, what? This is this is the last guy I would think to be Hall of Fame material. But they are, because they built an audience, a community around it. They know that audience. They know what that community wants. And it's sustainable. Is it ever going to be in the Wall Street Journal? No, probably not. But it's sustainable. What do you want? Do you want a sustainable career? Or do you want to be famous? You want to be famous, there are a whole lot easier ways to do it than podcasting. But if you want a sustainable career, you are in the right place. Show your work. Do not explain your worth. I think it's funny, these guys, they got to defend themselves. Well, I do this, and I do this, and I've done this, and don't you know who I am? And I wrote the book on podcasting, the first book in 2005 when podcasting was brand new. Okay, great. What have you done since then? I always think it's sad when people have to talk about what they've done in the past, trying to explain their worth. Well, back in 2005, I did this. I wrote this book. I did this podcast. Okay, so what have you done since then? Share it with people, but not in a, I've done this and I've done this way. In a, I am doing this, I want you to come along with me way. You got listener stories. You got clips of you in the studio, photos of you in the studio, videos, whatever. People trust a process that they can see. So when the outrage machine comes to you and they say, this podcast said this podcast believes in this, and they're woke, or the opposite of woke, or whatever, you got the evidence to back up who you really are. Final thoughts. What happens if the backlash crowd shows up? So what? Controversy, that's a tax on clarity, man. If you say something, plant your flag, stand by it, you're proud of who you are and what you are, somebody's going to come in and have a problem with it. That means you are reaching people. If they've got a problem with it, that means that they care. Great. Let them do their thing, but don't let them keep you from doing your thing. That controversy tax, the only time you need to pay that is when it buys you reach with your real audience. Don't get caught up in the viral trends. I was talking to somebody the other night. It was some kind of taste tripping thing. Do you know about this? There was this thing that happened a few years ago. It was called taste tripping, and it sounds like it's illegal, and the name sounds more controversial maybe than it is. But taste tripping is there's a plant that you can take, and it's in pill form, and it more or less allows you to eat hot sauce or eat sour things, but it changes how your taste buds receive those things. So a hot sauce, for example, might taste sweet. A sweet thing, it might taste sour. It's a fun YouTube reaction video. And she's telling me about, taste tripping, and then I did this, and the milk crate challenge, and then it's all right, fine. That's fun, but that's not an audience. That's an audience who's interested in a challenge, maybe trying it themselves, buffoonery. That's not an audience that's going to stick with you. Here's a very final thought, and this takes it back to Cracker Barrel. This whole go woke, go broke thing, you are hearing that from people with an agenda, from people who want you to vote a certain way or believe a certain way that lets them get away with whatever they want because they benefit from that thing. Don't let them manipulate you thinking you have to act a certain way just because they're doing something. You do not. This is podcasting. Again, we're talking about you owning your distribution. RSS, email, phone, text, whatever. You don't need to play their game. Make a podcast that you're proud to stand behind. The algorithm, it's going to waver. But when you plant that flag, you give somebody something to salute, your audience, they will not waver. They're waiting for you to do it because they're not doing it themselves, because they're not going up against this bullshit as you are. Got thoughts on it? Reach out to me, bigpodcast.com. If you want to work with me personally, you want to grow an audience, get more people to your shows, make money with your podcast, I can help you. Big Podcast AMP, AMP, it stands for Audio Monetization Program. You can find it, bigpodcast.com/AMP. That's bigpodcast.com/AMP. You want more thoughts on growing your podcast, getting more people to your podcast, making money through podcast, all these things that I'm talking about? Subscribe to this one. Bigpodcast.com is how to do that. You will see the subscription button. I've got a button for iPhone, a button for Android, an RSS feed. Easy for me to get the latest episode of this podcast, Build a Big Podcast, to you as soon as it's released. One click is all it takes. Go to bigpodcast.com to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode of Build a Big Podcast.